I'm here on location in beautiful Canada, fairly near Vancouver, and I'm checking out the OHM XU700 16. This is their most popular model, and it's really easy to tell why. It's got a super powerful motor, it's relatively lightweight, it's got a great suspension fork, it's got lights, it's got fenders, it's got a rack. It's awesome. It comes in 4 sizes, so kind of starts at that 16.5, and then 18.5, 20.5, 22.5. So you kind of get the small, medium, large, extra large for those folks who are a little bit taller. Maybe they're out there lumberjacking, and in Canada. The cool thing about this company is it is US and Canada, and their sales are kind of like 50-50 between the countries. I've admired the company for a long time just because their frames are fairly unique and really well built, and they use the BionX system, which I like. It's been around for a long time. It's got a great warranty, 3 years for the battery and the motor and the display, and that's awesome. That's like the highest I know of. And then the frame gets 5 years, which is fairly standard. It's a product that it's higher quality, and that is manifest in the higher speed. This one's kind of a speed pedelec. You can go well above 20 when you're in pedal assist mode, and the power for climbing. It's good stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump into some of the bicycle specs. This is an urban model. Okay, that's like the XU Urban. And as such, it's got these a little bit more like kind of slick tires, Schwalbe, Big Ben. These are great because they've got like active line Kevlar, so it's actually Kevlar line to help reduce flats and things like that. I love that. The size is 27.5 by 2 inches, so 2 inches a little bit fatter. It's going to give you some cushion, and there's a good rolling weight, good momentum that you get on these. But they're not so big that you can't have a little bit more travel. This is 100 millimeters of travel on this SR Sun Tour Radon. Again, it's an air fork, and it's got the adjustable sort of stiffness as well as rebound adjustment, and even, since it's an air fork, you can kind of adjust how much air is in there. Which is it's awesome. But having the fenders, you don't want those to come into contact with your toe when you're pedaling. So I'm glad that they stuck with 27.5 instead of 700C, which is roughly 28 inches. Just a good choice. It's got the nice reflective sidewall stripe, quality, kind of the safety piece. Got some Well-Go pedals here. They also have reflectors. But again, I mentioned the lights before, and they're both powered off of the main battery pack, which is wonderful because that means you're not going to have to be replacing batteries or reaching back here to turn it on and maybe you forget to turn it off. It's all integrated. And the battery is impressive. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So let's get back to the drivetrain. FSA Comet. It's got this nice sort of aluminum alloy bash guard that doubles as a chain guide. So being a bash guard, it's going to kind of keep your pants from touching the chain and maybe getting dirty. And at the same time, keeps the chain from flopping off, keeps the teeth in check. If you hit some sort of obstacle, you're not going to damage this as easily. And then they've got this plastic guide, so it squeezes it from the other side and protects it from the top. So you really shouldn't be dropping that front chain. This is sort of an outboard bearing style bottom bracket. It's going to be a little bit stiffer, maybe stay cleaner, and a little bit lighter because it is sort of a hollow spindle right there. I really like that. And then back here we've got SRAM Via GT. That's sort of top of the line for SRAM's urban lineup, and it's a 10-speed cassette. So with 10 cogs back here, and you can see that they're kind of cut through. They're lightweight, but you get a great range, and that is important because, as I mentioned, this has a higher top speed. So whether you're climbing and you're using the really big ring for leverage to get up those hills, or the smaller ring, I've been able to hit like 27, 28 miles per hour with this, and at those higher speeds, you don't want to be like, pedaling super fast. You want to have a nice, even cadence, and that cassette allows for that. So I really like that. Here we got the rack while we're back here. Max load, 30 kilograms, so above 60 pounds. Rack line, good stuff. I like it, and it's well attached to the frame. They're not screwing around with any extra little attachments or zip ties or anything. It's solid. It's got the pannier blockers and even like a little loop down here if you have like a bungee cord. It's standard gauge, so you can use most of the clip-on panniers, which I really like. Full-length fenders with 2 support arms on the rear and on the front, which is nice. So it's a little more stable. They don't rattle as much. And you've got the mud flaps and everything. Great, just solid stuff. I already mentioned the lights. These are B&M or Bush and Muller. You got the top light in the back, and then up front, it's like a Lumotech IQ SIO-T Premium. It's pretty bright. I turned it on earlier, and it's got like a little shield on top so you don't get that in your eyes. Great stuff all around. I even like the kickstand. It's a, let's see, Plesher with adjustable length, and it's got a decent foot. You know, it's a little bit wider. I think it's plastic, but it kind of painted silver. It looks nice. And there's the adjustable set screws there, so you can change the height. A lot of times, you know, bikes are like lean really far forward, and when it's an electric bike with extra weight, you know, then it can kind of tip more easily. So I like that this one's adjustable. Again, the whole weight on the bike at about 51.5 pounds, that's not bad at all compared to some other stuff I've seen. The motor, even though it looks really big, it weighs like 8.8 pounds. So not super heavy. They keep a lot of the weight right there on the down tube with that removable battery pack. Again, the drive system from BionX is really excellent, and having it mounted there is really clean. It does take up the spot for where a bottle cage might otherwise mount, but with the rack, you know, you can get like a little trunk bag or something with a bottle holder if you need to. I think the battery is like 7.5 pounds. It's pretty good, but it's high capacity. Let's get back to the bike again. Zoom professional stem, a really steep angle here, 35 degrees and 90 millimeter length. So instead of having you lean forward and having like a long stem, this one's real up and high, and then they've got 4 stacks in here. So it just brings the handlebars back to you so you can ride in a more comfortable and aware, alert position. I like that, and this is sort of a mid-rise handlebar. It's comfortable, and then you get the right size bike instead of trying to adjust the stem. Some of their older models, they had adjustable stems, and that's fine, but they can just get loose over time. It definitely happens depending on what terrain you're riding on, and this is sort of a, you know, this is a trail-capable bike if you're someone who commutes, and especially with the Kevlar guard and the bigger tires, it's like this is going to get you around town and then maybe across grass or on hard-packed dirt really nicely, and the suspension helps a lot there. So I like that. Kind of a Ritchie headset, oversized tapered head tube, again for strength. Down here we've got a 15 millimeter through axle, and it's really cool to take this off. It's hard to do with one hand, but you just pull that down, and then it just slides. It's like whoosh, and it comes right through. That's awesome. It helps to align the disc brake so it's not making noises when you ride. It's stiffer. Doesn't flex as much when you turn. It's overbuilt really for an urban bike, in my opinion, and that's somewhat reflected in the price. This is $41.99, so you're paying more, but you're getting a great warranty. You're getting a system that offers regenerative braking. It's really quiet and should last a long time. So I'm gonna get to the drivetrain again in a little bit, but I like that. It's nice to see these the different setup. 135 millimeter width on the back, and just kind of a standard skewer. But it's all fairly tucked away here. There's not a lot of wires sticking out or anything. I really like that. You can see the motor kind of wired in down here with a quick disconnect point. It's all just tucked away. Even the wire for the lights is well done. Well done. I like that for sure. And then up here we've got this is a Magura MTE. Nice hydraulic brake setup, 180 millimeters on the front and the rear. That's excellent stopping power, and it's important given the larger size, which does weigh a little bit more, and the higher top speed on this bike. It's nice that they take the brakes seriously. They definitely work. They're smooth, they're relatively quiet, and then on the right lever you actually have a motor inhibitor. And I asked them about this because a lot of times I like to see motor inhibitors on both sides, but given that this is a torque sensing electric bicycle, it's pretty responsive already. Like as soon as you stop pedaling, the motor pretty much cuts out. What this motor inhibitor is really here for in a big way is to activate regen. So there are a couple ways to do that. One is in the display, and we'll get to that. The other is just by kind of pulling on that brake lever. And what they'd said is, well, you know, it's nice to be able to kind of pull on a brake lever without messing with the motor, just to kind of touch your speed up. And so that's the front brake over here, and the rear brake, that activates regen as well as the rear brake. So awesome, good setup all around. I think it's finally time to get into the actual like motor systems and stuff. So this is the BionX D series. It's a 500 watt gearless hub motor that's kind of laced into the rear wheel here. But you'll notice that the spokes, being black, matching the rim, matching the motor, you know, really, really nice. They actually go almost all the way in there towards the axle. So they aren't connected to this composite, like, I don't know, casing. And that's a good thing, because that means there's going to be more flex, and it's going to be a better ride quality than if they were connected to the motor. It also uses probably a more traditionally sized spoke, and it's not these little things that are, you know, just coming like this super short distance. That would just, it'd be harder. Like, the reason spokes are used for bicycles is because they provide like a certain ride quality and a little bit of flex, and they're also, of course, lightweight. So I kind of think that's neat, and they've, you know, the motor casing is designed to have the spokes fit perfectly, and they don't really touch it. So it's beautiful. It's very high powered. Being a little bit wider, it just offers a better mechanical advantage. Like, you can imagine if you're trying to turn right here and your wheel's way out here, it's like, it's a lot of work. The further out you go, the more torque you can provide, if you're the motor, for the wheel. And that's what they've done here. It allows it to be really, really slim as well. You'll see it doesn't bulge out too much, which allows them to tuck the disc brake in really tight over there and to have this 10-speed cog set in the rear. So it's a neat design. One complaint is that it's like, well, it's obviously something different. You know, this isn't as stealth as some other electric bikes. People are going to be like, what is that? Also, a little bit of wind, you know, if the wind is blowing, but it's not the front wheel, you know. So I've ridden bikes with like zip, you know, deep dish rims and stuff, and they're super light road bikes. And when the wind blows, yeah, you kind of notice it, and maybe you're steering a little bit because it's so light up here. This one's in the rear. Yeah, it might catch a little bit of wind, but it's not too bad. And it's just, again, really powerful, really fast. That's what you get with this. So it's great for cities with hills, or people who just, maybe they weigh a little bit more. They're carrying some stuff with the rack, or maybe a trailer. This is a good setup. And one of my favorite hub motor designs that's out there. Because you could get something that's internally geared, small thing, it's a little bit lighter and stuff, but it's going to be louder and just not offer you the same climbing ability. So I really like that. The battery pack here is 48 volt, 11.6 amp hours. Pretty impressive, especially when you take into consideration the regen features. It can go pretty far, and being 48 volts, there's definitely a good power throughput to boost that motor. And it's removable. Got kind of a nice locking system. It actually bolts in 3 places, so it's extra secure on that down tube, which is nice because, again, you've got suspension if you're going off-road or something. It's just, it's good that this is solid. This is a purpose-built e-bike, even though it's sort of an aftermarket or kind of a B2B kit is installed on it. It's really designed, it's very purposefully, and I like that. One color on the frame, kind of this charcoal. Actually, maybe I've seen some black too, but always professional and kind of unisex a little bit that way, which is nice. So it's internally routed cables up here. So to activate the bike, basically you put the battery on there, and you come up here, you press the power button on either side of the display, and it comes to life. And right now it's in sort of like 0 mode, and this is acting like kind of like a cycle computer. If you press the lower left button with the kind of the recycle arrows, it changes the bottom part of the display. So right now we've got distance, odometer, chrono, which is sort of like how far you've ridden this ride, and then average speed and clock. And you can reset any of these by holding down on that, so it'll kind of reset chrono, and that's cool. It's very intuitive that way. Up here with this power button, you press it one more time, the bike shuts off, and it's very quick to load, which I love. But there's also a little light icon. If you hold it for a couple seconds, boom, it says light on. So now if we go to the front, you can see the headlight going on, and of course the rear light. So it's that simple. I love that. Get a nice reflector. Go ahead and turn off the light, save some battery power. And then we've got plus and minus, which is sort of duplicated over here. Really easy to reach while you're riding. You arrow up, you've got 4 levels of assist. The higher you go, the more power and the faster you can go. Again, with level 4, you can easily top 20 miles per hour. And then if you arrow down, you've got 4 levels of regen. So after you've climbed that huge hill and you're like, oh, I'm gonna coast down, you get battery capacity back. Like it's like 15% efficiency, which isn't super great, but at least it has it. And you can't really do that with mid drives or some of these other bikes. So for an urban setting, have something so clean, quiet, durable, and have regen is pretty awesome. And then it also has throttle mode. So let's go here. If we're pedaling, you got to be like 2 miles per hour, and then you can go ahead and just step on the throttle. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Just get myself moving here. Whoop, and just takes right off. And it also overrides assist. So if I'm in level 2 on pedal assist, I'm trying to be efficient, but I hit a hill, I can just quickly tap that throttle, and it's real nice. It's like, it's smooth. It's not just on off. You know, it gives you, there's some variability in power output. Love the bell. It's good stuff all around. Like definitely nice the way they've set it up. And the display actually swivels to reduce glare, sort of back and forth, and it's completely removable. So check that out. If you're parked at the bike rack, you could bring the battery inside and top it off. You could bring the display in with you, easily pocket that. No one's gonna mess with your bike, which is great. And that's another thing, I guess, like as far as the battery, the charger is really small and lightweight, so it's very easy to take with you. I might just ride back and grab the charger real quick. So see, it's already on, it's ready to go. I'm gonna show you the throttle mode going down this little hill over here, because we're gonna get to 20 miles per hour in no time. And then what I want you to notice is that it does cut out a little bit hard. There's kind of a like as soon as it gets to 20, and that's kind of for legal reasons. It'd be nice if that was a little bit smoother, but I think it really just emphasizes how powerful the motor is. So here we go, accelerating. I'm actually taking it easy going around this corner. Now here we go. Yeah. And I felt it like tug on me a little bit. So now I can pull the brake, get some regen going. It's very nice. It's a good setup, or I could arrow down into those assist levels, like the regen. There we go. So here is the charger I was talking about. See, look how small that is. Super small. It's kind of like a laptop charger or something like that. I think it's 1.6 amps, so, you know, fairly efficient. And then here's the optional SR Suntour NCX suspension seat post. So that gives you like 1.5 inches of travel, which is really nice. You can add a little bit more comfort, because yeah, you've got the front suspension, you got the bigger tires, but because this is a little more upright, like I was talking about, you know, there's just a little bit more, you know, you're still getting some impact. Depending on the terrain, it could be annoying. So the stock seat post is like 30.9 millimeters. This 27.2, and OHM does stock these, and they can sell the bike with it. And they have this special like little shim right there that helps to make it fit perfectly. So yeah, that's very nice. I love that. And it's like $130, not bad. Then this is a custom Velo saddle with like a nice sort of grippy surface on top. A little bit wider here for comfort, again, because you're a little more upright. You're not forward like on a super fast road bike, but it's got a relatively narrow like nose here, so your legs and stuff can pedal easily and efficiently without getting chafed. And I like that a lot. So, okay, so I wanted to demonstrate throttle going up a hill. Since the D series is 500 watt, it's definitely got the leverage. So I found a little hill here. You know, it's decent, it's paved, which you might encounter on a commute. It's pretty flat up until this. I'm gonna have to get it up to 2 miles per hour, and then I'm just gonna throttle it. There we go, there it is. We're accelerating. Yep. No problem. We're getting faster and faster, like 15 miles per hour, and we just topped the hill right there. Not bad. Not bad at all. That's what we came up right there. You can see it's clearly, you know, would have been some effort if I was pedaling. So I'm impressed, definitely impressed. I did also want to show kind of how the torque sensing works with pedal assist. This motor being a little bit more powerful, I think you can kind of see it, but it's pretty quiet, so it's not as noticeable as like cadence sensor. So here we go. Taking it up to the highest level of pedal assist. Now I'm gonna pedal. We got watts, 28 there, no problem. Pretty quiet. Everything's staying pretty solid. So there's just a ton of stuff to say about this bike. I've tried to capture it all. Again, it's their most popular model, $41.99, awesome 3-year warranty. It's a fun bike for sure, and I really like the D series. So to see that like so well integrated with all these upgraded components and stuff, I mean, you know, definitely an appealing offering. So that's the OHM XU700 16. For the full write-up on this, see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com, and maybe you have this because a lot of them have been sold. You have some feedback about it, some ideas or complaints or suggestions, just chime in the comments, or maybe I'll see you over on the forums. As always, ride safe.